Hello, fellow Crusaders, and welcome to our latest episode. My name is Sean Wasserkrug. With me, as always, is Brian Michaels, and this is a Movie Crusaders chat about episode. For anyone who follows our channel, whenever we do these type of episodes, this is literally we have a bunch of stuff we want to talk about, but not enough to have its own episode. So we throw a whole bunch of shit in here, throw it in a blender, and talk about whatever we want. Mainly, what we're going to be talking about today is we have in the span of basically the month of August, there's been a good chunk of movies that have come out that Brian and I have both watched. Some we've both seen, and some he's seen and I've seen, and not the other, that we're going to do mini reviews for. Not to the extent of what we do separate videos for, like End of Oak Street, which is out right now, and Spider-Man and Odyssey. So we're going to go through reviews on some of the movies that we've seen over the past month. And then, of course, D23 was this weekend, and plenty of news got dropped about that. So we're going to go over all of what D23. Some stuff we'll have some stuff actually to go in depth to talk about, and other things will be like, yeah, so that happened, and let's move on to the next thing. We're going to start with the reviews first. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to these reviews. Don't know exactly how long these are going to go. Some might go a minute, some might go 10 minutes. Depends on how much we get into the reviews. There's a couple that we've seen together, and there's a lot
together, but we've both seen.
Exactly. So if there's times where it's like, man, Sean's talking a lot, that's because Brian hasn't seen those movies, or vice versa. So let's go ahead and jump into the two movies that we have seen both together, so we can both give our thoughts on. One is probably got the I would say the funniest, most unique name of the year, which is I want to make sure I say this correctly: Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. I remember I said that to Kimberly, and she's like, "What the fuck is that?" I go, "Exactly, that is what that's called." I want to say the main reason that I wanted to see this is probably the main reason you wanted to see this, which is it's got our girl Zoe Deutsch in this, which her previous film that came out this year, Voicemails for Isabel, was in my top 5 when we got to the half-year mark of the year. This one is more comedy side than it is rom-com or more dramedy like Voicemails for Isabel is. But you saw this way earlier than I did. Didn't you say this?
Yeah, I thought it was back on like June 29th or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Was this a mystery movie one?
Well, it was a mystery movie, but it was only like 10 days before the movie came out.
Okay, because I watched that this weekend, so it's fresher in my mind. So do you want to go with what you remember first?
Yeah, it's because this is a movie, like you said, I want to see because of Zoe Deutsch is kind of the main draw, but also the fact that because she kind of was making a whole bunch of shit for a while, and then she kind of disappeared, and when she came back, she's making more like, dramatic and these artsy things like that black and white French New Wave film with Richard Linklater. Which
we both love her so much, but I think you and I are both like, yeah, we're not going to watch that.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to watch that. So I saw she's doing like, a nice light comedy again. I'm like, oh, that's good. I want to see her just be fun again. And then as I realized it was the movie coming out from director David Wayne and his whole crew of guys from The State, the MTV show, who they went on to make like Wet Hot American Summer. He's also done like Let's Come Together. And he also did some like non-state stuff. And he still like, brings his friends in to pop in like role models, for instance. Some more like major mainstream films. And so he's coming out with this comedy. He's actually got a pretty good cast assembled. You got Ben Wong, who just came off of his big year with Long Walk and the Karate Kid. John Slattery's in there. You got
Miles Gutierrez, Riley, and
John Hamm.
Ken Marino are probably the main. Yeah. That's the main big cast.
So, and like I said, he's got a lot of cameos from his friends from The State as well. So I'm like, this is going to be right up my alley. I'm going to love this movie. It's basically, Hall Pass, but it's like their take on Hall Pass. So I went into this with pretty high expectations, honestly. And I came out thinking, it was fine. I mean, it's like, I liked it. I enjoyed my time there, but it was nothing great. And I don't know if I'll go back and revisit it anytime soon. But, at least if nothing else, we got kind of Zoe Deutsch back there with just her, fun charm again.
What did you end up giving it?
I ended up giving that one 3 stars.
Yeah, for me, this felt like a mix between one thing I hated and one thing I enjoyed until the final season and then grew to end up hating it. And that is Fool's Paradise, which was a movie that I think you and I were... But hold on, let me finish before you start shaking your head at me. which was a movie that you and I were both excited for because of the cast and everything. We're like, this is
No, I was just
great.
shaking my head thinking back on that being like maybe the most disappointing movie of all time. One of them.
Yeah, because we were so excited for it, and it was the least funny. Hey, I did you a favor, do me a favor, and be in my movie cameo film. That was just one of the worst films of the year when it came out. And then like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is goofy and weird, but it had so much heart and charm that I loved it. But then the last season just completely fell on its face. It's in that kind of middle between those two. Like, you love Zoe Deutsch's Gale because she's just Zoe Deutsch being, Zoe Deutsch. The rest of Ben Wang's actually really good. I actually like Ben Wang in this. But it's so fucking dumb. This movie's so dumb, and it's just, and then like in Fool's Paradise, it's cameo the movie. It's just like, hey, here's Weird Al Yankovic. Why? I don't fucking know, but there he is. Hey, here's Jennifer Aniston. Why? I don't fucking know, but there she is. Hey, here's Paul Rudd. Why? No fucking idea, but there he is. And it's just like,
he's always been friends with those guys. So, yeah.
What's that?
He's always been friends with those guys. He's appeared in several other movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wet Hot American Summer and Role Models being another one. But it's just like the plot is so stupid and the acting is so over the top dumb that it feels intentional, which Wet Hot American Summer makes sense. It's a director decision. I probably was just not in the right mood for this. Like, it just is overtly zany, which is going to have its audience. I'm not that audience. Now, I will say once we got to like the last like 30 minutes, the charm started to find its way. And I was like, okay, it's not as bad. Because I remember I was like 30 minutes into this and I texted Brian. I'm like, I fucking hate this. Like, this is fucking awful. But it found its footing in like the last 30, 45 minutes. And I'm like, it's still bad. I don't like it. But I don't like, I was like, this is going to be one of the worst movies of the year. And it's just more kind of like in the middle of the road now. I ended up giving it 2 stars. It also has very much like kind of like a Wizard of Oz-esque thing to it. Like Gale's Dorothy, and then the rest are like, well, he's the Tin Man, he's the Lion, he's the Scarecrow. Because when they all get to John Hamm, basically, John Hamm's like the wizard in this. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize this is very much Wizard of Oz. But yeah, it's a very weird movie, and you have to be in the right state of mind for it to probably enjoy it. I probably wasn't.
That's just the thing is they've always been like, if you ever watch The State or Wet Hot American Summer, these other David Wayne things, it's always been kind of surreal, kind of over the top, kind of weird, kind of comedy, but it's been largely kind of my kind of comedy that I usually enjoy. This one, it definitely was going for the same style, but it seemed to me like for every joke that hit, there was like 5 that weren't. Just falling flat.
It just did not flow the way I wanted it to flow, and it bummed me out because it was Zoe. Yeah. If it had not been Zoe, I'd probably been like, whatever. But it's like, oh man, come on, Zoe. I want you to do well. So yeah, 3 stars for Brian, 2 for me. The next one is another one that Brian got to see early because of the mystery movie. And that is One Night Only, or The Sex Purge is what most people are calling it. Why don't you go ahead and jump into this one first, like I said, because you're further out of it than I was.
Yeah, so that's what everybody calls it, because that's exactly what it is. It's The Purge, but with sex. And like The Purge, it's really something. They try to explain it, why it happened, and there's the government and how everybody has like the tracking chip in their things. It's like you just have to just go with it. You just have to accept it's a dumb, just like The Purge. This is dumb. This would never ever happen. But I'm just gonna go with the premise. And as soon as you let yourself go, you're gonna enjoy it a lot more instead of trying to like pick it apart the whole time. Callum Turner is a guy who I'm not terribly impressed with him. If he's the next James Bond, I'm going to be super disappointed because I don't really like him. But he's fine in this. Monica Barbaro, I actually really enjoy. I think she's got a certain charm to her. I could see her becoming like, the latest rom-com queen or something, which is surprising because before this, I only knew her from, Top Gun and from A Complete Unknown and these things, which are not rom-coms at all. But I could see her kind of making this her thing, or at least coming back and doing these occasionally, because she definitely, she's obviously an attractive woman, and I think she's got good comedic timing and talent to her. So and even Callum Turner, who I don't love, I think the two of them worked very well together, and it was very believable chemistry to me. so I enjoyed that. Um, there's not a whole lot to this movie. It just is what it is. It feels kind of short. It's super predictable. I mean, from the beginning, you can probably map out how the rest of the movie's going to go. But it's definitely got its charm. It's got a lot of fun scenes in it. I really like this director, Will Gluck. He's the same guy who did Fired Up. He did Easy A. He did Friends with Benefits, I think was also him. But he's a director who I've really liked everything he's done. And as far as I'm concerned, he's kind of 5 for 5. I'm not going to count the kids' movies because he did the Peter Rabbits and the remake of Annie. Oh, Anyone But You. That's the other one he directed. I forgot. So I really like this director, and I'm just glad that we're seeing rom-coms in theaters again. And if nothing else, I praise him for championing that.
Score?
Oh, I give it 3.5.
3.5. Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I don't like. Oh God, what's his name from Gladiator 2? The lead.
Which guy? I forgot his name too.
The guy who literally has the charisma of a piece of wood.
That's how forgettable he is.
But everyone is like head over heels about him, and I'm like, you and I don't.
Paul Mescal. Yeah.
Paul Mescal and Callum Turner are like the same thing. They have like this huge aura around them of being like these heartthrob next big things. And at least with Mescal, like we saw him. I'm like, this is the fucking guy that you guys are talking about. Like, this guy sucks. Whereas with Callum Turner, this is the second movie I've seen him in. That the other one being Eternal, which was that last year or was that the year before?
I didn't see that one. Eternity? Yeah, it was
Eternity.
Last year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which I actually enjoyed him in that, and I enjoyed him in this. So I don't know if I can see him as a Bond either, but that's just because I haven't seen him in anything action yet. But he's one of those guys where it's like, he's not pretty, but I can see the charm. So I guess I can maybe see him as a Bond, potentially. He would not be in my top 10, but if he got it, I wouldn't be pissed, but I also would be like, you're going to have to really win me over on this. But I enjoyed him in this. I thought he flowed really well with this. And Monica, I'm like you. I only really saw her in Top Gun Maverick, but I really liked her in this. And I thought their chemistry and their comedic back and forth actually worked really well. This sex purge premise is fucking idiotic and stupid, and there's no way they could police this fucking thing. Nor the main general plot of the movie is that they're having a hard time finding a condom, which if literally the sex purge is you can only have sex, if you're not married, you can only have sex one night of the year and you have to use a condom, wouldn't you have like 1 billion condoms out there in the world to be selling? Like, that's a big mass market, like, faux pas for everyone to be out of condoms. Doesn't make sense story-wise why that would be a problem that no one would have condoms. I'm sorry, that's like not having Christmas trees or candy for Halloween. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to miss out on that kind of money opportunity? Anyway, that shit was just bugging me because that was like one of the main plots through the movies.
The funny part is it took so long, so much of the plot. There was like a good half hour where they went in search of condom essentially. And for some reason, this is so random. I was reminded of a movie called The Trojan War with Jennifer Love Hewitt. They were the same thing. He was in search of a condom because he wanted to have sex.
Yeah, and it's just anyway. That was one of my problems that I had with the movies is like, we're taking so much time to try to track down a condom that by the time we finally get past that story point, we're already halfway through the film and we haven't even gotten into like the crux of what this rom-com is going to be. Mm. But when we actually do get to that, it's charming in its own way, and I actually had fun with it outside of the dumbass fucking premise of this movie. Is it very predictable? Of course. Did you see how the ending was going to go from a mile away? Of course, because it is still a rom-com, and we kind of usually know how these movies are going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like you. I had fun with it. I think I also gave it a 3.5. And I'm sorry, Monica, that dress on you was fucking amazing. Like every time I was like, please don't ever take that dress off, Monica. You are gorgeous.
Or better yet, take the dress off.
But don't put it on something else, though. Is what I'm saying. So those are the two movies that we both saw that we can both talk about together. Now we're going to be going to the single reviews. I've got 4. You've got how many?
I've got 6 total, but I'm just gonna rapid fire
most first.
Yeah, I'm just gonna rapid fire a few of these. I saw Soulmate, which was a movie that was on the release calendar. It basically looked like Megan, but like the R-rated, like sexy version of Megan. It ended up getting pulled from the release schedule, disappeared, and then all of a sudden it just kind of showed up on, it got its digital release. But I watched this movie just because I was curious about it. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this movie, honestly. I still only gave it 3 stars, but it was like the tone-wise and the style of it, it felt very much like an old 90s thriller, like back in the days of like Disclosure and some of those thrillers back then. And that tone and the style of the filmmaking really surprised me. And so I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. Like I said, still only gave it 3 stars. It's not a great film by any means, but I kind of dug it, kind of enjoyed that. I also saw Her Private Hell, which is the latest movie with Sophie Thatcher in it. Charles Melton's in there. This is from Nicholas Winding Refn, who's best known for Drive, and he's done a lot of other movies, but they're all kind of that surreal, neon-bathed kind of look to them. I don't know what the fuck this movie's about, and I watched this whole movie. It looks great. And again, I think the performances are fine, and I was kind of digging the vibe and the atmosphere of it, but I could not tell you what happened in this movie. This was just a bizarre movie. I only gave it 2.5 because, like I said, for content-wise and plot-wise, I need to have something to grab onto. But I will say that it looked good, and I didn't, not enjoy my time. Ice Cream Man, Eli Roth.
I have heard nothing but awful fucking shit about this, which I'm like, well, duh, it's an Eli Roth movie.
Well, Eli Roth, he apparently has decided he hates the studio system, and so he decided he's going to go out and get his, privately fund his movies and just release them as he wants, because he released this unrated, so he can go full on with all the gore he wants to do and all that. I watched this in one of the Monday Mystery movies, which is probably not the movie to spring on people who don't know what they're getting into, but they did. I kind of thought I was going to enjoy this movie because, it's going to be campy. It's going to be nice and violent and gory. It's not trying to be, anything deep. It's just trying to be a fun horror comedy, essentially. It definitely did do the over-the-top gore, which, I'm always up for that. And it was definitely campy, and there were some funny moments to it. But it was not enough to save this movie because, for starters, the child actors in this movie were some of the worst child acting I've ever seen. They were just awful. Some of the effects, obviously, he did this on a budget. And honestly, the whole plot of these kids basically turning into these zombies type people, it was done better in a movie called Cooties that starred Elijah Wood and Rainn Wilson. So if you want to see that movie, just go watch that instead.
What did you give an Ice Cream Man?
I gave it 2 stars. It's not good, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
I do think I heard, because I think they're doing another Monday movie mystery on this Monday, and a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Buddy. I'm hoping
it is.
I have no idea what this movie is going to be. It seems like Barney the Dinosaur.
It's like a horror movie with a Barney the Dinosaur kind of thing. But the thing is, what gets me honestly is the director of this is one who made this online thing that became a phenomenon apparently like 10 years ago, which I didn't hear about until this year. I just watched the first time, called Too Many Cooks. If you haven't seen it,
I've seen it
on YouTube and watch it in its entirety because I enjoyed the hell out. Now, I don't know if this guy can handle a whole movie or not, but I'm at least encouraged enough to see that.
It makes me Mondays are awful for me with work, but it almost makes me want to go, Sean, power through and go see this on Monday because I kind of am super intrigued by seeing Buddy. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm kind of trying to get my brain to like, dude, you're gonna go see it on Monday.
You want to knock out a couple of years?
Yeah. Speaking of trippy ass movies that the whole time you're like, what the fuck am I watching? I watched I Want Your Sex with Olivia Wilde.
I wanted to see that, but it showed up and it left after 1 week, so I didn't get a chance to see it. I'll have to wait to digital.
Yeah, it stars Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman. It's also got Daveed Diggs, who I love, and Mason Gooding in it as well. And also, oh god, what's her fucking name? Is she a singer? Friggin' Charlie XCX.
Oh yeah.
Margaret Cho, Johnny Knoxville, they're in it too, and kind of a small part. Anyway, the movie is basically Olivia Wilde is like this artist, and she's got this studio, and Cooper Hoffman gets hired as like an assistant, and he basically becomes her sex toy. like dominatrix sex toy kind of thing, and she controls his life, and he's got a girlfriend who's Charlie XCX, and who is fucking awful in this movie, by the way, but I think that's just her personality in real life, so she might actually be good in this.
Oh, you mean like a bad person or a bad actress?
Bad actress.
Oh, okay.
She's so wooden, but I can't tell if that's how her personality is, like Billie Eilish kind of thing. Is like, I can't tell if that's just how your personality is, and that's why they casted you in this role, or if you're just a bad actress. I can't fucking tell. I don't really know who you are. But every time she was on screen, I was like, can we just get past her? Because I just don't like seeing her on screen. Cooper Hoffman, I don't really know how I feel about this guy. Like, I want to like him, but he really has a very punchable face. He really does. And in this movie, it's very much the same. It's like, I appreciate the performance, but damn it, dude, you have a very punchable face. Daveed Diggs, I wish they gave him more to do. He doesn't get enough to do in this movie. He's very, very small in this film. I feel like he could have helped a lot more with this performance. Mason Gooding is hilarious in this, in the part that he gets to play. He's got great one-liner zingers in this. He's awesome. I say all that Olivia Wilde is fantastic in this. She is playing off the rails, just batshit crazy, and she is nailing this. And Cooper Hoffman, punchable face or not, he's doing really great. It's very colorful. It's very zany in your face. But the problem with that is that they start this weird thing with Cooper Hoffman's character. He's very much like a you remember is it One Crazy Summer with John Cusack?
Yeah.
You remember how like he kind of like daydreams into the comic book spread?
Mm-hmm.
Like Cooper does that, and where it's like he just goes into a weird daydream thing, or something happens, and all of a sudden it shows him like falling into a void. And it's just like, what the fuck's going on? But then, like, they don't continue it throughout the movie, so it just feels random and out of place just to be random and out of place. And it's one thing if you would have kept doing that throughout the film. And he explains that he's kind of like that. But then, once again, you did that through the first act of the movie, and then you completely just stopped. So it feels just more like the director's just trying to keep you off center, off guard. And then once the movie starts getting into the actual plot, they just ditch it. I would say if you're a fan of Olivia Wilde and you're a fan of Cooper Hoffman, check it out, because watching them two in this role is definitely unique, and they're both really good at it.
Olivia's having, between this and The Invite, Olivia's having a hell of a year.
Olivia's having a fantastic year.
Yeah.
And if you just want to go with in the last 365 days, Cooper with this and The Long Walk, he's having a really great year as well. Is this something though, if you're not a fan of those two, that I'd say, hey, check this out? No. I don't think you guys are going to get anything out of it if you're not a fan of those two in particular. Unless you also want to see Mason Gooding, because Mason Gooding, he's a lot of fun in this. But he's also, like I said, a smaller character in this. So I gave it 3 stars. I didn't regret seeing it, but is it something that I would go out of my way to see again? No. Even though you do get to see Olivia Wilde nude. But once again, you see her nude a lot. So it's not like it's anything out of the ordinary. But it's, like I said, it's a very weird movie, and it's kind of hard to explain, but at the same time it's not, just weird director decisions. My next one after that came out on Netflix. I want to say it was last week. It's called The Last House. Did you ever see this one?
No, but I watched the pitch meeting on it and told me all I needed to know.
I did not watch the pitch meeting because I wanted to watch the movie. Basically, you got this family with Greta Lee, Wagner, is it Mora? Mora. And their 2 kids, and he's coming home from fishing, and it starts to rain. And basically, the rain basically creates like this force not a force field, but the rain basically locks all the doors and the windows, and it basically becomes a penetrable shield around everyone's houses. And so not just this family, but everyone is stuck in their houses, or wherever they are and trapped, they're stuck. But we basically mainly stay on this family, and then you can kind of see them through windows talking to their neighbors with like chalkboards and stuff like that. You later find out that there is these creatures outside that if you somehow do make it outside, they will, kill you and eat you. And much like I said in my review for The End of Oak Street, one of my pet peeves is this M. Night Shyamalan thing where you don't know what's going on, and then some rando character who's not like a scientist or someone smart basically explains what the fuck's happening, and you're supposed to go, well, that's a wild accusation, and then it ends up being fucking true. And in End of Oak Street, it was the daughter. In this one, it's also the daughter who's like 8 in the movie. And she's somehow correct. And I'm just like, fuck you. It's like, there's no outright bad performances in this. I think Greta Lee and I think Wagner and even the 2 kids are good in this. But the problem is that the script is very wooden. There's one particular moment right before they go into the final act where they're monologuing, like it's one of those things where it's like they're preparing for something and you can just hear that they're talking, over it. And Greta Lee's just reciting these lines. I'm like, are you just reading this off a piece of paper? Because that's how you're delivering this. And that's a director decision. That's not because she's done very well throughout the movie. But in this, I'm like, this whole scene is awful. Like, you guys are reading this so poorly. The creature designs are unique, but it's also happening so quickly and fast, you don't really get a good chance to really look at them. But the main problem is that it starts to become more of a less about the creatures and more about, oh, we're stuck in the house for however long. I don't want to say how long. And it's like, well, yeah, you're going to run out of food. And you're going to run out of all this stuff. Like, people are going to start starving to death and dying because they can't go outside. So how the fuck are you going to survive? And it starts to become more of like a drama about this family who are, breaking in terms of their, mental state and all that stuff. And then once it's like, oh, we figured this out, we're good. Okay, now here's these monsters. And it's like, you gotta pick one, you gotta stay with it. It's either a mental struggle because this family's stuck together and they're running out of food. You don't then just go, oh yeah, okay, now there's monsters they got to deal with too. And it just felt very tacked on. And while, like I said, no one outright is badly in this, and visually everything looks fine, by the time it ended, I was just kind of like, okay, I really don't really know what this movie was for. I gave it 3 stars for what it was because, like I said, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think it's not executed to the way it should have been executed. But yeah.
Yeah, my sister-in-law who did watch this movie, who I just saw this weekend, I showed her the pitch meeting, and she says, "Yep, that is 100% accurate, and it has all the same problems with it that I had with it." So go watch that afterwards.
I will. Like I said, I was about halfway through it, and I was like, you know what? Like, a lot of people seem to be shit on this movie, but it's like, I'm not hating it. And then as soon as I said that, it's like I jinxed myself, because then I started like noticing everything. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is what I was hearing was all this stuff. But anyway, I got 2 left, so you go.
All right, I got a couple more. I went and saw Tony. That is the new film starring Dominic Sessa, who from Holdovers and from the last Now You See Me movies. He's playing Chef Anthony Bourdain. It's not really a biopic because it's only covering like one summer in his life, which is apparently like kind of the summer that started his journey and made him want to become a chef and everything. It's definitely a smaller, like, independent movie. The director of this is actually a guy who he did Blackberry. He also did that Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. But he made this one, which I would say it's a drama. There's definitely some comedy, some comedic moments in it, but it's definitely more of a drama. Antonio Banderas, I really like when I see him pop up in a movie again, especially in a big role. He plays a big role in this movie. He's kind of the guy who hires him in his kitchen and kind of becomes his mentor and teaches him how to cook and everything. He does a great job in this movie. I loved Antonio Banderas in this movie. Dominic Sessa, I think he did a good job. My problem is the character is so completely fucking unlikable, which I know Anthony Bourdain has a reputation for having been an asshole his whole life. That's kind of his thing. But this is like, I'm watching this movie, and there's a main character who, for the first part of the movie, he just comes across as kind of a stalker and a creepy dude. Because there's a girl he's trying to date. It's actually the reason he follows her to Cape Cod. And then after the only reason you stop thinking of him as a creepy stalker is because then he just kind of becomes an asshole towards the end of the film. So, but the performances are good. I actually did enjoy the story. Like I said, it's a very small story, just kind of covering just the very beginning of his career. But it was decent. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. And I also went and saw Nimrods, which is a movie that is, I think, co-written by the guys in Green Day. It's basically it's kind of Detroit Rock City, if you've ever seen that movie. It's basically these kids trying to get to a concert. These kids, there's the 3 guys that are in this band, which they say they're punk, but I don't know if I'd really call it punk. They're in a band. One of the guys, his older brother pranks them and gives them a call because after they went and met Green Day at this record signing appearance or whatever, and the guy, he tried to slip him his demo, and so the guy's older brother like pretends to be one of the guys in Green Day and calls him up and says, "Hey, we want you to come open for us at our show in LA on New Year's Eve." So the whole thing is this band trying to get to LA. It's a road trip movie, trying to get to LA where they think they're going to open for the band, but they aren't really slated to open for the band. It felt like a Kevin Smith movie in terms of like the dialogue and the characters, and I don't really mean that as a compliment. It kind of felt very kind of stiff and kind of badly written, like especially the earlier Kevin Smith stuff. Except it's not a Kevin Smith movie because there's actual like camera movement and production value to it. But I was actually kind of disappointed by this movie because I like Green Day and I kind of like the idea of the movie, but the problem is it just had lots of little mistakes, lots of plot holes, and things didn't make sense to it. The acting's decent. I'm trying to think of anybody. Oh yeah, it has Mason Thames and McKenna Grace are both in it. McKenna's role is pretty small. They're reuniting after that last movie they did together. The other guys I don't really recognize. One of them I thought I recognized, can't find his name. Jenna Fisher shows up in a small role. Bobby Lee shows up in a small role. Sean Gunn shows up in a small role. But they're basically cameos. So overall, if you're a Green Day fan, go check it out. But it's just kind of mediocre. I gave it 3 stars because it was enjoyable enough. And then the last one I want to talk about solo. I'll talk about one more later. But there's a movie I watched called California Schemin'. This is a movie. It actually is coming out in the U.S. on October 16th. It was already released in like April in like Europe, UK, and it's already even hit like digital, and you can watch it streaming there, which is why VPNs, yay. So I saw this movie. It's basically these 2 guys, these 2 Scottish rappers, musicians, who they're trying to obviously get this music career, but they go to these auditions and people basically kind of laugh them off because they find who wants to see Scottish rappers kind of thing. So one day on a lark, because they always call it up these record labels trying to get meetings and stuff. So one day he's like, you know what, I'm just going to just pretend to be American. So this guy puts on his American accent and he calls up and immediately gets a meeting. Like, hey, why don't you come down and see us and give us a demo? And because at the time, like everybody was looking for like the next Eminem. They want all these, because it's the same kind of Eminem and it's kind of Eminem meets Linkin Park kind of music to it. And then things just go from there because then they get this record deal and they have to continue pretending to be American. They live their whole lives 24/7. They'll only talk to each other in like American accents. And it's just kind of their rise and like kind of all the drama of them trying to maintain this lie, and they're constantly worried about being uncovered. But I really liked the music. I really liked the 2 lead performances. I found out this was a real story. I didn't even know that when I first started watching it. It's based on a real story. The pair is called Syllable and Brains, but I won't tell you what happens in the movie. But I did go back and kind of want to go back and look up all their music to see, to listen to it after I saw this movie and find the real story of it. And then I found out this. I guess I'm talking about a second movie. There was a documentary on this made back in 2013 called "The Great Hip Hop Hoax," and that you can watch actually on Tubi TV and on Amazon Prime right now. If you want to watch a documentary of the real story of these 2 guys. And I found that equally interesting, even though I kind of already knew most of the story. But this is one that I would recommend you check this one out when it comes out in October, because I really enjoyed this one. Also, it is the directorial debut of James McAvoy.
What did you end up giving this?
I gave that one 4 stars.
4 stars. Okay.
Yeah. And then the only one I have left, I'm going to talk about after. Go ahead and finish.
The only one I got left outside of the main one as well. This came out on Netflix this weekend. I wasn't really going to give it a look, but I watched the trailer. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll check it out. This could very well be one of my biggest surprises of the year. and it is Don't Say Good Luck.
I haven't heard of this. What is that?
I shit you not. I'm going to tell you who the lead is. You're going to go, but I shit you not. It is great. Sunny Sandler.
Oh, I saw she was coming in a movie. I didn't look into it because of that though. So, okay.
No, this is great. This is like Edge of 17 great in my eyes, which you know how much I love Edge of 17.
Really?
So Sunny Sandler.
Got a strong supporting cast.
It does. Sunny Sandler is the youngest of Adam Sandler. I think the oldest daughter, she just had a movie come out. I think it's called Roommates. I haven't seen that one though. This one is following Sunny Sandler. She plays Sophie. She's a high school girl. She is going out for this play, The Waitress, which I want to say, is it the Kerry Russell movie Waitress, or is it something completely different?
Kerry Russell movie Waitress, yes.
That's the play.
Oh, the musical is based on the play, yes. It's based on
I was just saying, because like when I hear The Waitress, like the first thing I think of is the Kerry Russell movie.
No, the movie came first, and they made a musical of the movie. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she's in high school, and she's trying to get she's trying to make this play. Her mom is played by Melanie Linsky, who we both know is such a criminally underrated actress. Her father is Max Greenfield. Many people know him as Schmidt from New Girl. I fucking love this dude. Rest of the cast, you got Stephanie Beatrice, who we both enjoy. Steve Buscemi's in it as well. It's a coming of age story. It really is. But what we find out in the story is that while she is trying to get, in this play, her mom, played by Melanie, is a cancer survivor, and the cancer has come back. So it's her juggling her life with this play, and then also her mom being sick, and basically, crazy life for her. Her best friend also is I'm looking at a whole list of people. Scarlett Estevez, which for anyone who's a fan of the TV show Lucifer, she plays Trixie, the young girl of the cop's daughter, which was like nice to see her. Oh, she's a teenager now. Like, look at her. And she's coming into her own thing. So her and Sophie are not on the same page. So it's her kind of going her way, her going her other way. And then Sophie's dealing with all this other stuff with her mom and everything. I'm not going to lie. This movie actually made me cry, at least in two separate moments. Now, granted, they were like almost back-to-back scenes. This movie's got a ton of heart. Sunny,
is it a comedy though, or is it a drama?
No, this is like are there funny moments in it? Sure, but no, this is a straight up dramedy.
Well, see, because I saw Sandler, and I mean, even though it's not Adam Sandler, I immediately think comedy. So yeah, okay.
No, this is like a this is mostly like, are there some funny moments in it? Yeah. Is it laugh out loud? No. This is straight up a drama about a teenage daughter going through her teenage life in high school with her mom, dying of cancer. And then she's the oldest. So she's got two twin brothers who are at that age where they're just fucking annoying in every scene that they're in, but they're actually doing a really good job because they're really good at playing annoying. And, she's got a crush and, all this other stuff. Sunny, she's amazing in this. She's so good in this. And it's hard because you look at her, it's like, that's Adam Sandler's daughter. But it's like, no, take fucking Adam Sandler out of this. He's not in this movie. The closest thing you have in this movie that attaches her is Buscemi, who is not playing funny in this. Buscemi's playing the grandfather, and he's just genuinely a nice dude in this. He maybe has one kind of funny line. Other than that, he's just playing a supportive grandpa, which I'm not used to seeing Buscemi do in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, dude, Buscemi, you're actually like doing really good. But yeah, like Sunny she's gonna be one of my nominees at the end of the year for breakthrough of the year, because I saw she was in Happy Gilmore 2, and she was kind of like the moral compass in Happy Gilmore 2. Trying to get Happy to, be himself again, not be a fucking alcoholic. If anyone who saw Happy Gilmore 2, she just has this like general like heart to her, and she's actually really good in this. And the whole cast is great in this movie. Like even like the high school kids that are in the play, because they have, it feels very lived in. It's like you have all these theater kids, so if you're a fan of theater, this is gonna be fun because you have like the typecast. I know I was watching this like, it's gonna be so hard for Brian to like watch this because he's gonna think Sandler because it is a Happy Madison production, but it also is like right in your fucking wheelhouse.
I mean, it sounds like it. Music, and how big a part does Stephanie Beatrice have? Is she in a lot of it?
She is the theater director.
See, because I like her obviously a lot. So
yeah, she's the one who's the director of the play. So she's kind of like a mentor to Sophie in this movie.
Okay.
Like I said, I loved it, and like I said, there's two moments in particular. Like there was like one time earlier in the film where I actually was getting choked up. And then there's these two moments in the end where I'm like, I literally had fucking tears like coming down, and I was like, I gotta get a tissue, man. I'm crying. Like this has actually got me good. Yeah, I thought this was great. To me, it's a high 4, really? Almost 4.5. And like I said, I don't know if I was just in the right mood. I was watching this at like 10:30 in the morning, so it wasn't like I was emotional for any reason. I woke up and I was like, all right, let me fucking watch this right now. And like I'm there like literally like here like almost noon, and I'm like in fucking tears watching this fucking movie. But yeah, I was blown away by this. Like kind of how I was with like Voicemails for Isabel. I was like, oh, I'm watching a Zoe Deutsch movie, and then here I am fucking like tearing up crying in a Zoe Deutsch movie I wasn't prepared for. But yeah, this is great. Can I say, Brian, are you going to feel the same way I do watching this? No, because you and I don't always see eye to eye. But
and Sean thinks I have no soul or heart. So
no, what I'm saying is, if you can take the Madison aspect out of it and just watch this movie as it is, don't judge her on her name, and just watch this as what it is, I think you actually will enjoy this as well. And I strongly recommend this, guys. Like I said, it's on Netflix now. And I'm same thing to everyone out there. Remove the Adam Sandler aspect of this and just watch this for what it was. It is actually an incredibly well done coming of age teenage story. If you're into that sort of thing, if you're not into those sort of movies, then I'm not going to win you over on this review. But if this is kind of like the movies you like to watch, where like Edge of 17, coming of age, high school story, especially theater story, you need to go out of your way to watch this. It is a very well done. Melanie Linsky is fantastic in this. Max Greenfield is fantastic. The whole cast, like I said, this is one of those where I might actually nominate this for best ensemble when we get to the end of the year, because I was like, there wasn't really a weak person in this movie. Every character in this played their roles to where they needed to be, and they elevated it. Like say, even the theater kids, I think they were all great. There's no like typecast, like, oh, here's the, like, you think they're gonna do that, where it's like, oh, here's the girl who's like always the lead and she doesn't get the lead, so she's gonna be a bitch through the whole thing. It's like, no, she's not. She's actually very fucking supportive. It's like I wasn't prepared for her to actually not to play against type, and it's just like I said, everything about this movie just worked for me. It just hit me perfectly, and I fucking loved it. But yeah, I'll go into my last one, since yours is technically the bigger name movie. I think Brian and I, for the most part, will be kind of in agreement when most people will ask, what is one of, if not the best zombie movie ever made? And we both will probably say The Train to Busan. Or I'm sorry, just Train to Busan. There is no the. That movie, if you guys have never seen Train to Busan and you guys are zombie horror fans, you're guys doing yourself an extreme disservice not seeing that movie. It is one of the best horror films and best zombie movies ever made. The director, I hope to God it's not a hard name to say, Yeon Sang-ho, and I probably could say that wrong, and I do if I apologize. He is now making his next zombie movie. It's called Colony, which naturally I was like, I have to fucking see this because I love Train to Busan. Basically, the concept of this one is that there's these scientists who are trying to evolutionize human society by kind of putting us all on like an ant's brain wavelength where we can all communicate like in the same mindset kind of thing. And so this guy, and this is all in the very first like 10 minutes, guys. So this is not like a spoiler for the whole film. This guy's trying to do this, and of course everyone goes, you're fucking crazy, and he gets fired. So this, of course, you fire a guy who literally is crazy with this kind of stuff. He's going to go, well, fine, I'm going to fucking show you guys how smart I am. And he basically injects this serum in like this, it's like a mall, but it's not a mall. It's kind of like in Gremlins 2, it's like a big ass business building, but it's like a mall inside of it as well. Mm-hmm. It's got like shops and shit. You're like, what the fuck is this building? He injects it, and of course it causes like a zombie outbreak in a way, but they're not like it's like they're zombies, but they're not zombies at the same
Like a
time.
rage virus kind of thing.
Exactly. And by doing that, they all can now connect to this guy because he's like the serum, and so he's the master.
Oh, it's like a hive mind.
Yeah, he's the master hive mind.
Oh, okay.
And so like basically he can see through all the zombies' eyes. So like for instance, like when they all first start, they're going after every human because they're trying to infect everyone like ants. But they get distracted by like cardboard cutouts of humans and posters of humans because they see human and they go to attack it. And it's like, well, those aren't humans. And so he kind of figures that out. And so he kind of like does like an uplink and you see all the zombies like stop and like shake, like they're all like downloading data. And he's uploading, like he's like basically upgrading their brains to go, that's not humans. Like stop. Get these humans. And so you have this like this queen bee, which is this dude who can control all these zombies, but you also can't kill him because he's the only one with the vaccine to fix everything. And so then you got these people that are inside the building who are trapped and they have to survive, but they got the whole building on lockdown. So they got to A, survive, B, find this guy, and C, get him out. So that way, if the outbreak does get outside the building, they have the vaccine. And that's what the story is. I will say in terms of Train to Busan, the zombie action of this, because with the reason why I don't say they're zombies is because you can pretty much like stab these people and shoot them and they're dead. Like you don't have to like shoot them in the head. Like you could stab them like 3 times in the chest. These guys are not going to get back up. But they definitely look like fucking zombies. But the action horror aspect of this is incredibly well done. There's this one aspect where they combine themselves because they're trying to study the humans, and there's like a paralyzed person that is a part of the survivor group, and so they see this paralyzed person, so the zombies start trying to act like the paralyzed person because they think that's how humans are supposed to act. And so like that's a really weird but unique thing that they're doing. So in terms of the uniqueness of this zombie film, this guy is just a brilliant director when it comes to zombie movies. The one thing that I think that this movie does not do as well that they did do with Train to Busan is that the one thing that made Train to Busan so amazing was that the human cast, not the zombie cast, but the actual alive cast, were memorable. They had so much heart that like when you would lose one of the members in Train to Busan, like it hurt. Like you were upset when certain characters died, or if that one fucking banker dude that we all fucking hate would like fuck everything up and it would kill like the baseball guy and shit. Like you're like, fuck that motherfucker. You know, like you had those moments. And in this cast, it's 2 hours. Could have probably been 20 minutes less. I think it goes a little too long. There's like a beat that goes like where it's like, oh, is this the end of the movie? And it's like, oh no, wait, here's another 20 minutes. And it's like, I don't think we needed that first 20 minutes of that. We probably could have just gotten to the end point and it would have been tighter. But the characters themselves, I don't think outside of like 2 of the main cast, do you actually ever feel anything for them? And even then, it's like by the tiniest thread. It's like you feel for the main chick because she's the fucking main chick. But if she died, would I have been like, no, like I would in Train to Busan? No. And I think that's like the one thing that if I had to come up with a negative for this is that the human cast is not nearly as strong or as memorable or has the heart of Train to Busan. Also, because of how Train to Busan was, the zombie action is great in this, but I just don't think it carries quite the weight that Train to Busan had. And I know I'm just comparing everything Train to Busan, but it's hard not to when it's the same director. This is still probably the best horror movie that's come out this year. And we've had some really good horror movies. Everyone's going to say Obsession or Backrooms, even though we hated the Backrooms, or something else. But I think in terms of how it's utilized, the scares and the story that we're getting, Colony is probably, if not the best, the second best horror movie that's come out this year. I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, if it had a stronger human cast or a more likable human cast, it could have gotten to that 4.5. But the story is unique and really well done. Even if it was a little too long in the tooth for me, but when this movie is hitting on all cylinders, it is fucking awesome. So definitely strongly recommend this. Obviously, it's a foreign film, so oh my god, subtitles, it's the worst. Fuck off. But do I think if you haven't seen Train to Busan, you see Train to Busan first? Absolutely. But yeah, Colony it was still really, really good.
Yeah. It's on my watch list. I just haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah.
And the last one I'm going to talk about is one that Sean absolutely plans to see. He just has not yet. It's Super Troopers 3. Or as it shows the title on screen, it's called Super Troopers 3 Farva's Wedding. Don't know why they added that because Super Troopers 2 didn't have a subtitle, so who knows? But Super Troopers 3, basic plot is that
Farva's getting married.
Farva's getting married to
Ramathorn?
To Thorny's sister.
Yeah.
And basically, so on top of all the usual, cop antics, you have the whole conflict because obviously Thorny does not want Farva to marry his sister.
Would anyone want anyone to marry?
No.
Would Farva? No.
So he's trying to ruin the wedding or to get them to break up. He's trying to make Farva look bad in front of his parents so that they won't give him the blessing to get married. And Farva is, of course, trying to hide who he really is. Trying to act like the good son-in-law to be. Again, like all Super Troopers movies, it's just kind of the basic framework around which to put a whole lot of fun just scenes and skits and antics that they get into. For me, I also want to mention they add into the usual Broken Lizard cast. You had Nat Faxon, who has been in some of the other ones of Broken Lizard movies. He's got a major role in this. Chase Crawford from The Boys is in this. Hannah Simone, who most people would probably know from New Girl, she plays Thorny's sister. She's the one that's getting married. And then there's some other cameos. Brian Cox does show up Brian Cox actually is one of the most fun parts of this movie because
he's usually one of the most fun parts of this movie.
Yeah, well, this isn't spoiling anything, but in this movie he has retired, but he's kind of still hanging around. He has his reasons, but he's still hanging around. But he's not their captain anymore, so they can talk back to him and give him shit, which actually I think gave him a chance to kind of have more fun with it. Really enjoyed him in this. The movie I feel is the weakest of the three. It's not as funny as 1 and 2 because 2 is a funny goddamn movie. People are finally coming around to agree with me on that too. People
are the Mounties in this?
The Mounties are not in this, no.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were the best part of 2, but 2 I love almost as much, if not maybe even as much as part 1. I think they're funny. I don't understand why people don't like part 2, but go back and rewatch it. I think you'll enjoy it. But like both of those movies, all 3 of these Super Trooper movies, it's like I love all the comedic moments and the comedic scenes. I just don't care about the overarching, crime they're trying to solve or whatever. Because there is a whole thing here they're trying to solve in addition to the whole wedding subplot. But it's just kind of just something to move the plot along. But I enjoyed everybody in it. I think that nobody did a bad job. I think it's funny. It definitely has a bunch of laughs in it. But I think it is easily the weakest of the 3. So I did give this one 3.5 stars, whereas the other ones I probably gave 4 stars, I think.
Does this completely redeem themselves from Quasi?
Oh, absolutely. This is 1,000 times funnier than Quasi. Because Quasi
I remember you and I
Quasi had maybe one chuckle-worthy moment in it. I watched the movie once and then purged it from my brain. I've never watched it again.
Yeah, because I remember you and I I watched Tacoma FD, which is basically Broken Lizard's TV show, which they canceled, which is a bummer because I fucking love that show. But when Quasi happened, you and I are both kind of about to write off Broken Lizard as movies. But you think that they've redeemed themselves enough so if they come out with another movie, not have to be Super Troopers, but another comedy movie, we're going to be like, okay.
Well, I think so, because my thing is that, they made the Super Troopers 1 and then later 2. They made Beer Fest, they made Club Dread, which we both love. And then Slam and Salmon was kind of not quite as good as those, but it was still funny.
Well, Slam and Salmon was more of an indie where all the others were actually
and then they came and did Quasi, which just completely sucked. And we're like, oh man, that might be done. And then we heard they're making Super Troopers 3, which to me, my immediate fear was, something didn't work, so they're just going back to the well and making the sequel to the one, the one that's their biggest hit, and which is honestly essentially what they did, but it did still turn out to be funny. So I gave it 3.5.
Yeah, I wish I would. To me, Club Dread is still hands down one of my favorites. I love Club Dread so much, but so many people like dislike that one and love Beer Fest, and Beer Fest to me is like not fun. I don't enjoy Beer Fest.
Oh, I think Beer Fest is fun, but I definitely enjoy Club Dread and the Super Troopers movies more.
Beer Fest, I think I need to give that one a rewatch. I just remember watching it like when it came out. I'm like, I'm not. Maybe it's because I don't drink beer. Like I don't know. I just don't find Beer Fest that fun. But Club Dread to me was like, dude, I fucking love Club Dread. So you said you gave that one 3.5 or 3?
3.5. Yeah.
3.5. And the other ones were 4 technically. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think
there were 4. Yeah.
I think Super Troopers 1 and 2 for me were both 4 stars as well. So, like I said, I just have not got to watch it yet. So, that's all the reviews. So now we are going to jump into D23. Luckily, I've got a list of everything they talked about. Like I said, we're not going to really spend too much time on stuff that, frankly, Brian and I just don't care about, but we will talk about what we want to talk about. So I'm going to run down the list. And like I said, if it's something that we care to talk about, we will. If not, we'll just move on. They announced Incredibles 3, which we already knew was happening. We got a synopsis for it. And we got a casting for it, which they did not say Holly Hunter. So maybe she's not coming back as Elastigirl?
I can't imagine that's true.
But like it says, Craig T. Nelson returns, and they announced like Violet and Dash and stuff, but they didn't say Holly Hunter. I don't know why. But basically the synopsis that I got for Incredibles 3 is the story will focus on Violet and Dash as they prove themselves capable of following in their parents' footsteps. They keep sneaking out at night to protect the city, but it doesn't go over well at home because the parents aren't convinced that they're ready to be superheroes. They're also having time struggling with Jack to contain him because obviously his powers are OP, as we've seen in both films, because he has like 18 fucking different powers. There's a new threat that is taking a heavy toll on Bob, who's grappling with his own relevance in a world of soups that may have outgrown him. Just because soups are legal again does not mean all soups are good. So that's the general plot for Incredibles 3. The first Incredibles film is probably one of my favorite Pixar films of all time, not named Toy Story. Incredibles 2, I only ever saw that when it came out. I have not watched it since, and I just remember being like severely disappointed with Incredibles 2. So I hope Incredibles 3 is good, but I don't know if I'm generally excited for this or not. Do you have an opinion?
I love the first Incredibles. I loved kind of that kind of retro kind of look it had to it, and the setting, and even its score to it was kind of like a kind of a retro score that Michael Giacchino did. Incredibles 2 was one of those sequels. I'm like, I don't need a sequel to this movie, but if they're gonna make one, I'll check it out. And it was fun. It was enjoyable, but it was just like, I don't know. I don't even think I've watched it a second time. It was just like one of those, like, I just kind of watched it like, oh, that was fun. And then kind of moved on. I definitely didn't think they needed a third one, which they are making. By the way, I did just confirm Holly Hunter is in it.
Okay.
Because I saw a Variety thing was listing the returning people. She was in it. And actually, I see a link to an interview with her where she talked about doing production for it. It would
felt wrong if she was not in it.
But I didn't know anything about Incredibles 3 except that it was coming. And I feel the same way about it. I'm going to see it. I'm sure it will probably be fun, but I'm like, it's just time and resources that I wish were put into other movies instead of just cranking out sequels, which I know is kind of what they like to feel is safest. But it just annoys me. Like, I forgot to mention my Nimrod review. Like American Idiot, which is a stage musical based on Green Day music. That was for a while. There's talked about making a movie of that. And John Gallagher Jr. from News Radio and from Short Term 12 something, he actually starred in the original production of it on Broadway. So I would have loved to have seen them make the movie, but then that got canceled. But my thing is, they don't make that, but they'll make this movie that was very mediocre. So I kind of feel the same way about The Incredibles, where it's like, I don't need a third movie. It's like,
okay, let me step in on this with you saying this. You want them to make an original one.
I know where this is going. Okay.
When was the last original Pixar film you watched?
Yeah, I have not liked several of the last Pixar movies. Everybody loves them.
Exactly. So you're mad that they're making sequels, but when was the last original one?
Well, I want them to make original ones that appeal to me.
because I've watched every single one that's come out, but because they are still making original ones. I mean, hell, the last one was Hoppers this year, and I think the last one that I really enjoyed was.
And that one didn't appeal to me.
And I thought Elemental was real good. Onward, but fuck, Onward was 6 years ago.
No, you know what? I really, really enjoyed Onward a lot.
That does not feel like that was 6 years ago.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the one that was cut short from COVID.
Yeah, because it came out like the week before COVID.
Yeah. So I really liked Onward. I've only seen maybe a couple of them since then, honestly, because most of them has kind of been like, but
honestly, Turning Red, not needed. Hoppers, meh. Luca, meh.
Soul.
I feel like it just wasn't in the right mood for Soul.
Inside Out 2, didn't need it.
Inside Out 2 was great. Toy Story obviously was great. I liked Lightyear, but wasn't needed. And like I said, Elemental I thought was actually
that's the one that I've heard great things about. So I am eventually going to watch that one.
Yeah, Elemental was actually really, really good. Next, I've always wanted to play the games, but I never had them to play them. Kingdom Hearts apparently is getting its own series.
Never played it.
Does not say whether it's live action or animated. I'm going to lean more towards animated because I don't see how they can make that live action because it's basically bringing all the Disney characters.
I'm sure. Unless it's like a hybrid thing.
If it's a hybrid, that'd actually be really cool if it was a hybrid thing. But I'm assuming it's going to be animated. I'm intrigued by that. I don't know how to feel about it, but I'm definitely open to it. It would be easier to do that because like Jack Sparrow's in the game, and they're not going to get fucking Johnny Depp.
It's listed here as according to Variety, an anime TV series.
Anime, okay. Because I'm
not
on
just
Deadline.
animated, but anime style. So yeah.
Yeah, because Deadline doesn't say; they just say series based on the game. Like I said, I'm open to it. I'm not a big anime guy, but hey, I might check out an episode or two, see if it hooks, and go from there. But Kingdom Hearts is a very unique game. I'm just not a big RPG guy, and that is an RPG game, and so it's just not my style of gameplay. But I like the concept of it. Mm-hmm. New Pixar film called Ghost Market. Basically, it looks like their version of trying to do like kind of like Monster House, but with ghosts. Hey, I'm down for a Pixar ghost, like paranormal ghost show movie. That sounds like it could be interesting as long as it's actually like cool and not like, cheesy with it. I don't know. They had like a little bit of footage of like a boy like walking around a haunted house on his phone and stuff. I mean, it wasn't really much to it, but that's probably, one of the newer, like I said, newer ideas that Brian's asking for that I'm like, all right, I'll watch that one. Maybe Brian might too, because it's, ghost one.
I mean, it sounds interesting, but I didn't even hear about this announcement. And it doesn't look like, as far as I can tell, they don't have any cast that they've announced, at least on it.
No, all they have is the directors, and like I said, they show footage of a little boy who kind of looks like what's his name from Up.
Oh, that just turned me off when you said that.
I'm not saying it's him. I'm just saying like it's like a kid like around that age, walking around like a haunted house kind of thing.
I just looked at the little tiny clip that they showed. He looks to me like the best friend in Paranorman too. So,
which I never saw Paranorman, so I really can't get there.
Watch Paranorman anyway.
I'm not a big fan of that kind of style. So same thing with like Coraline and stuff. I'm just not. That doesn't do anything for me. They announced Coco 2, which I really enjoyed the first Coco. I don't necessarily think it needed a sequel like most of the Pixar films, but we are getting that. And from what I've gotten is that Coco was the grandma who died at the end of Coco. So don't really know why it's still called Coco, other than they just, obviously for people to know what it is. But basically, Miguel is no longer a boy. He's now a teenager, and he's basically the Ernesto de la Cruz, the main bad guy. Obviously, he's still around, and he wants revenge because Miguel ruined his legacy in the first film, and that looks to be what the main premise for Coco is. I'll check it out. Obviously, Brian probably won't, because if he doesn't even want to check out any of the sequels for any of the Pixar films. Plus,
I saw the
weren't
first
you
one.
not a huge weren't you not a huge Coco fan anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike it. It just kind of like
It is what it was.
wasn't for me, I guess.
Yeah. Bluey the movie.
Pass.
Next. We're not fucking 4, so I don't think we care about that.
You really want to give me Coco Melon? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Live action Tangled. We already knew this was coming. This is not anything new, but they showed some footage of it. Tegan Croft is playing Rapunzel. I don't recognize that name. I'm blanking on who's writer. I know they casted writer, but I can't remember who.
I only remember his first name is Milo, and I remember him because in the same week, or at least in the same month, I remember he came out in 2 movies. One was Eli Roth Thanksgiving, and the other one was the musical Journey to Bethlehem, which was the weirdest double feature of all time right there. But he seems like a charming guy. He definitely has a Flynn Rider kind of swagger to him, and he definitely has musical chops. Like I said, I saw him in this musical, Journey to Bethlehem, which I actually quite enjoyed. So while you know what I feel about Disney live-action remakes, I might see this one. I liked the original animated film.
And Catherine Hahn is playing Mother, which might be a little too close since she just got done being Agatha, but it's Catherine Hahn. We love Catherine Hahn, so I like Tangled. Tangled is like was the same time it did come out as Frozen, and everyone like gave Frozen.
Well, that's what annoys me is everyone praises Frozen, and I think Tangled is. I mean, I like Frozen. Superior. But I think Tangled is far superior.
Yes.
But Tangled was the first kind of 3D animated, computer animated film that Disney put out. But then it was it was 3 years later that Frozen came out and everybody went gaga over Frozen.
Here's my worry about Tangled. How are they going to make the horse work in live action? Because that horse is a very animated horse.
That's I think the kind of thing that concerns me, because they might give the horse some personality the way he kind of pushes up against Flynn.
I mean, that horse would sword fight with you. They're gonna make that live action.
But I think they're not going to do that. I think that he's just going to be maybe a little precocious horse. But I think it's much like when they did the live action Mulan. All of a sudden, Mushu was gone, and he was the best part of Mulan. So it's I hope they don't fuck that up.
Because that horse is too much of a badass to not have that horse in the movie.
But this is also being directed by Michael Gracie, who did Greatest Showman, so it's got some talent behind it. So.
That doesn't win me over.
I liked it. Tegan Croft, I'm looking up. I don't recognize her from anything. Apparently, she was Raven on the DC Universe Titans,
which I didn't watch.
Otherwise, she doesn't really have many credits to jump to. Milo Manheim is the name of the guy.
They announced season 3 of Percy Jackson. I haven't watched any of it yet. I want to. I've heard good things, but I haven't watched a single episode. Have you watched any of that?
I have not.
Okay. Like I said, it's got the kid from Project Adam in it. I really liked that kid in that movie, so I'm gonna check this show out eventually. It's just I have not watched it yet. Oswald looks like black and white Mickey Mouse. It's going to be a little 3-part series.
Well, that's harkening back to the original old Disney where they had before Mickey Mouse there was this Oswald character. Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's like
black and
animation live action mix. Because
the
one picture they got is this version of Mickey standing on a live action table. So if it's like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque kind of thing, I'll check it out. But it looks like it's going to be Jon Favreau has got his hands on that because he introduced it. So I don't know if he's the director of it or if he's just kind of behind it. This one I did not hear about until I got on Deadline. Romy and Michelle, too.
I heard they were making it. I guess I didn't know that was in production now. But
no, it's done. They completed filming.
Okay.
Yeah, they came on stage saying that it's completed and that I guess it's coming out next year. They gave a preview of it. I remember liking Romy and Michelle for what it was. All I remember is the stupid dance with, was it Alan Cumming was also in that movie? Who was it? I only remember the dance that they did at the like the prom, or what was it, the high school reunion or whatever. I can't remember anything else in that movie. I remember enjoying it for what it was.
The title of it is Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. So yeah.
I was like, I don't recall. I don't think I need to see a sequel of this though, but I'll probably check it out just because of those two. They showed trailers for another fucking Ice Age. I think I stopped watching Ice Age after like the third one, so I don't have anything to really say about that.
I think I've seen them all at some point just because they were all released like when my kids were young, so I watched them all with them. But even they don't care anymore.
You had to watch them all for trivia.
Oh hell no! But I don't really. I couldn't tell you one from the other. They were fine, I suppose, but I have no desire to watch another one now.
Yeah. This one, I guess, is called Boiling Point. Comes out in February of next year. Lilo and Stitch 2 live action. Naturally, they were going to make a sequel because it made a fuckload of money last year. Ke Kwan apparently is going to be in it because he was on stage for it. Apparently, they're featuring Stitch's pink friend Angel. I never watched anything outside of the first Lilo and Stitch, so I don't know the character. But that's going to be coming out May 28th of 2028. So that's still a ways away.
Just as a real quick, Oswald is a 3-part miniseries on Disney Plus. It is directed by Jon Favreau. Yes.
Is it? Okay.
I'm sorry. It's written and produced by Jon Favreau. It doesn't have a director name.
Oh, okay. Then they showed I guess a trailer for the new Disney and Pixar film. I apparently said it wrong when we were off camera, but it's about a cat.
Gato.
I said gatto. Gato. I'm not a cat person, so I probably don't really care about this.
That actually sounds interesting to me. I might check that one out, although we don't know much about it yet. So,
I want to say we saw a trailer at some point, like a sneak peek trailer a couple months back, because I was like, I'm looking at stills and I'm like, I feel like I've seen this already.
I don't know.
Now we go to the big news, which is MCU and Star Wars. Star Wars, first off. They showed a sneak preview for is it Last Starfighter?
Mm-hmm.
Which
I'm sorry, it's just Star Wars Starfighter. It's called. It's not
Star Wars Starfighter, not Last Starfighter, just Starfighter. We still don't know a whole lot about it. I mean, obviously the people that were there got to see an actual like sneak peek trailer of it.
Oh, it's all over like Twitter and that. People filmed it if you want to watch it.
I don't like watching those.
You'll watch cams anyway.
Yeah. Shut up. But it's Gosling, so I'm obviously there for that. And it's Star Wars. I'm gonna watch anything Star Wars. And then also we got finally the trailer for Ahsoka season 2. I absolutely loved season 1 of Ahsoka because unlike most people, and this is not a knock at Brian, this is most people who tried watching Ahsoka season 1. I actually watched Star Wars Rebels, so I understood everything that was happening in Ahsoka because Ahsoka season 1 is basically Star Wars Rebels season 5 live action, and I fucking loved it.
Well, I binged Rebels before that came out.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it, not like you did, but I enjoyed it.
Yes.
And season 1 I thought I liked it, but I didn't really love it. Ironically, I think Ahsoka is the thing I liked least about it. I liked some of the other characters, Sabine Wren. I liked obviously Ray Stevenson as whatever his name was. I really loved him in there, but obviously he died and it's being taken over by the guy from Game of Thrones
the Hound
in the season. But I got to say this is the trailer they showed for season 2. It looks so cinematic. It looks like a movie, more so than Starfighter, I think, honestly. So
didn't you say it looked more like a movie than Mando and Grogu?
Oh, definitely looks more like this. Mando Grogu felt like a TV show they put on the big screen. This one, at least, this is just judging from the trailer, of course. I haven't seen the series, but at least judging from the trailer, this one looks more like a big movie. So
yeah, I cannot wait for this. I am so excited for Ahsoka season 2. Ahsoka to me is probably one of the best written, best characters in the Star Wars universe, but most people don't know that or understand that because they didn't watch the animated series. But she is hands down one of the best characters in the Star Wars universe. And then we get more Hayden Christensen, which fuck yeah, more of that. Also, Disney, stop fucking around and let Ewan McGregor make more Obi-Wan. He literally wants to spend the rest of his life making Obi-Wan shit. Fucking let him.
But make it better than Obi-Wan Season 1, because that...
Yeah. Plus, Anne Hathaway says she wants to join him with it. So fucking let her join the Star Wars universe also, you fucking cowards. But yeah.
So there's another reason to look forward to Ahsoka Season 2. I want more of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So
yes. And I'm blanking on the actress who played Sabine, but I really liked her as Sabine. And I'm blanking on the actor because they don't have the cast. The guy who played Ezra is a pitch perfect Ezra from the animated series. So I'm so happy with the cast choices for everyone. Next, let's go ahead and jump into the MCU. We've talked about this a lot. And now we're finally rounding out this cast that Brian is not loving. X-Men. We're finally getting some casts of the X-Men. We already know, obviously, Sadie Sink is Jean Grey from Spider-Man Brand New Day. We also heard about a week or so back that Samara Weaving was going to play Emma Frost. Also, Kit Connor. I only know Kit Connor from being the voice in what's it, fucking Wild Robot?
I believe he was a voice in Wild Robot, yes.
Wasn't he? He was the duckling in Wild Robot. That's the only thing I know Kit Connor from, but he's Cyclops.
I was looking at his filmography, and I've seen a bunch of stuff he's been in. Like, he was in Warfare, but he was just like one of the other guys. I don't know. I don't remember him.
In that movie, there's like 8 people we know in that, but we couldn't recognize them because of how the fucking shot. Adam Driver's playing Mr. Sinister, which we've never gotten a Mr. Sinister live action, so at least we're getting something new. Chris Abbott is going to be Xavier. Don't really know if I love that choice, but yeah, okay. To me, we also got Maya Boyd playing Storm. She's a relative unknown, so neither one of us.
She has one film credit, but apparently she's mostly a Broadway actress. She starred in it's a show called Anne Juliet. She starred in that one. And from what I've seen of her, because I looked up, I'm thinking everybody went and Googled her after they announced this. She definitely, I think, has the look. Now that they are going younger with her than I expected them to, because in obviously when X-Men first started out, Cyclops and Jean Grey and all of them were young. Storm joined the team later, and so she was an older character. So it's curious to see they're bringing her in now as one of the younger, with the same age as them. So I wasn't expecting that, but she definitely has a look to it, and I could see her. I just don't know her acting ability, but I mean, casting is the one thing I think that Marvel has been very good with. So I kind of trust them, because like I said, like Christopher Abbott is the one that bugs me the most. I don't see him as Professor X. I find him to be very bland in most things I've seen him in. But again, Kevin Feige must have seen something. He must have had a great audition or something. So I will hold off on any, criticism.
As I said, I'm not wowed by it either, but there's got to be a reason they wouldn't have casted him if he didn't knock it out of the park. And then, of course, the last big casting one was Indy Neverade, who's one of the bigger names this year because of Obsession. She has been cast as Rogue, even though many people thought she was going to be Mystique. She is Rogue. Honestly, I think this is probably perfect casting for her. I feel like she's going to knock Rogue out of the park.
See, I don't have anything to base that. Now, she's a good actress. I don't doubt that for a second. She is a good actress. My problem with her is that I worry that they're just grabbing on to like the hot actress of the moment. The one who's, this is the 20% everybody's talking about, so we want to get her in our franchise. But again, I think that they wouldn't just cast somebody for that. Marvel has not done that just in the past, so they must have seen something. And I also, in the one main thing we've seen her in, she has not shown anything like Rogue. So it's like,
I would hope not in Obsession. That would have been completely weird.
That's what I'm saying, though, is we've not seen her do that kind of character. So I can't say, I think she's perfect casting for it, because I don't see that.
I think what I'm saying about I think she's perfect for it is that based off of how I've seen the many crazy ass layers we got to see of her in Obsession, that I trust that she has the capabilities of being able to be Rogue-esque. Whereas with Mystique, you're wasting her because most of the time she's either going to be blue or it's going to be captured by somebody else who she's imitating.
She was saying, because people kept asking her when they heard rumors that she had met with Marvel, she kept putting it out there like, if I ever was going to be, I'd like to be Mystique, and that's where that came from. But she was just misleading everyone, so they wouldn't know what she was really being cast for.
I think she'll do really great as Rogue.
Yeah, my only question with the casting. Now, obviously, it's coming out May 5th of 28, so they've
My
got
birthday
time.
movie.
Um,
Yeah, that's the day before my birthday.
my thing is, are we going to have more than one man on the X-Men? Because so far there's just Cyclops. Because Professor X isn't one of the team; he's just Professor X. So I assume there's more casting to come, and this is just like the first round of people they've announced for it.
Yeah, I would.
But I also
that we got to have more than this.
but these casting announcements have also kind of thrown me because I don't know where they're going with the story. Because again, there was when Cyclops and Jean Grey, the people were young when the X-Men first started, and then later Storm joined when they were all much older than that, and then Rogue didn't come in until even later than that when everyone was an established team, and she was on. And Emma Frost they have in here, but they haven't mentioned anything else about anybody else from the Hellfire Club. And Emma Frost later, much later, has kind of been on the team. He's been a villain. She's been a hero. So I don't know where they're going with the story. I mean, obviously they're not going to follow the comics exactly. They never have. They kind of interweave stuff. But I'm actually kind of excited by that because it's not going to be like Days of Future Past, where like we kind of know the story, from the comics. So I'm glad to see them kind of making it so even if you know the history of the X-Men, it's still going to be something fresh and new.
And plus, if you haven't paid attention, if you look behind Brian knows when it comes to X-Men. I mean, I have Wolverine here. He's got fucking comic books of X-Men literally hanging
I'm very well, so far at least, I'm very happy that they did not announce a Wolverine. And I kind of hope he's not in this first movie. I don't think he will be.
I feel like Wolverine, if anything, he'll be a post-credit scene at the end of the first movie or something midway through the second.
I feel like Wolverine is the perfect character to bring in movie 2 or maybe even movie 3.
I feel like because Hugh Jackman still has to have his last ride, announcing Wolverine right now is just going to distract from that.
Of course, he's on his third last ride, so
he is, but until he's 90. But yeah, honestly,
until you're 90,
what a lot of people want. Not when I say a lot of people, I'm saying this is what I'm seeing a lot of people say on Twitter. It's like 1% of probably like everyone out there. Some people are saying that they wouldn't mind if they just foregone Wolverine and they just brought Daphne Keane back and it was just X-23.
That I don't want.
And I'm like, I would love Daphne Keane to be a part of this, but I also still fucking want my Wolverine.
Yeah.
I want my Wolverine. I want my Sabretooth. I would love Omega Red to finally pop up in a fucking X-Men movie because I fucking love Omega Red. He's like one of those guys that I just love watching on comic book panels. I would love to see him in fucking live action. But I really, really, and it's not that they haven't done it. I just feel like they did it best in probably the worst movie. I really want my Sabretooth Wolverine legit, like, good story. And the only time it was somewhat good was in the worst fucking comic book movie ever made, which was Origins. But I really fucking want, that's who I would love Jack Reacher to be, or Alan Richardson. Alan Richardson would be a phenomenal Sabretooth. He would, dude, oh god, I get excited just thinking about him as Sabretooth. That'd be fucking amazing. But yeah, X-Men, we're still almost 2 years out from that. I'm sure we're gonna hear plenty more out of that, but like I said, we still got to get through Doomsday. We still got to get through Secret Wars, and also
that's the thing is I think they're also handcuffed by the fact that they have Secret Wars coming up because they don't want to reveal anything about that movie that might lead into or affect X-Men. So I think they are keeping a lot of the cards close to their vest.
I think they announced what they could announce because they're probably the least not least effective, but they will cause the least amount of issues going into these next two Avengers films where they're not going
and you notice there's no I believe except for Cyclops and Professor X there's no other overlapping characters, so it's like
because I mean Famke's not in Doomsday, is she? Not
that they've announced, at least.
Yeah. So yeah, only Xavier and you just said Cyclops are the only ones.
So we could still see a Beast. We could still see Nightcrawler. Who knows? Or maybe they might not have those in here. But it's like I feel like there's a lot of characters that are just kind of going to wait until a later date to reveal.
Yeah. They also showed the first trailer for Vision Quest, the Vision show. Didn't really know what we were going to get out of that, but I loved this trailer because Brian and I are both...
I have not watched this trailer yet.
Oh, damn you. Dude, this is so Age of Ultron. It's got James Spader in it. It's like Spader is like his ghost and like his mentor ghost who follows Vision around everywhere. And dude, this trailer is awesome.
When is this coming out?
Is it October? I want to say it's October 14th. But yeah, they say it's the final of the trilogy. I'm assuming
WandaVision is calling the second part.
Is WandaVision the second part? I figured Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness was the second part.
No, I believe they're considering, because even on the poster art and stuff, it shows like from the creators of Age of Ultron and WandaVision, and then this. It's kind of the Vision's arc.
Oh, I thought Wanda was the first one, and then Doctor Strange, and then this. But that's fine. But I loved this trailer because I love James Spader, and knowing that we're getting like human James Spader in this, because they literally do a point where he's Ultron, and Vision's like, dude, no, human form only, and then he transforms and it's Spader with a beard, and I'm like, yes. I fucking love James Spader so much. So this this trailer is weird like WandaVision, but I am so fucking down for this. I was excited watching this as much as I was watching Ahsoka season 2's trailer, and we're only 2 months away from this. I want this to be wacky, but also to the point where it is going to get us to a point where it would make sense if Vision is going to show up in Doomsday or Secret Wars, that we're actually inevitably getting there. And it's not like, well, this is what's happening all the way the fuck over here, but it's not going to be connected to anything that's happening over here. Like, they have to have it connective tissue it, so that way if he does show up, but if he doesn't show up, there's got to be a reason to explain why he's not showing up. But I really liked what I saw in the trailer for Vision Quest, and Brian didn't see it, so he can't really have.
I've not seen the trailer. Although I was just looking in, and according to their press announcement and stuff, they're considering the trilogy to be it's the streaming trilogy of WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and this. Which I really hope Agatha All Along isn't that involved in this, because I skipped most of that series.
I don't recall seeing her at all in the trailer. They show WandaVision stuff in this trailer. I don't recall them showing Agatha at all. But like I said, I only watched it the one time. And then the last but not least, we got an actually, scratch that. I forgot one last Disney thing. Hexed. We've seen a trailer for Hexed already. It's got Haley Steinfeld. They also announced that Jodie Foster and Walton Goggins is also joining the voice cast, which, hey, anything with Walton Goggins.
I've seen surprisingly little marketing for that, considering it's coming out like this November, right?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
So I'm surprised. I mean, I assume soon they got to really ramp it up, because I didn't realize it was coming out this year, because I haven't seen hardly anything on it. So
yeah. Also, Zootopia 3. Duh. We expected that.
I still haven't seen 2.
It's. I would say it's on.
I'm sure it's fine. I just not. These animated sequels just do not excite me most of the time. I usually end up seeing them eventually, but.
Yeah, it's on par with the first one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like I said, the main thing is they released. I don't know if this was the Comic-Con trailer.
It was.
It was the Comic-Con trailer. Okay, so we got to see the Comic-Con trailer for Avengers: Doomsday.
Yeah, they call it a special look if you find it on YouTube, but
yeah,
it's essentially a trailer. Yeah,
it's the Comic-Con trailer.
Yeah.
Did you watch it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to assume like Vision Quest that you saw it. A lot more Reed Richards than I was expecting. And that's not a bad thing.
That makes sense with Dr. Doom being.
Well, yeah, it was like the first trailer. I was like, are we gonna pretend like they're not connected in any way? But no, they are. They are. Okay, makes sense. And usually I'm about to say something negative when I go like this, but it's like I don't really know what to say about Doomsday right now, and that's because I'm trying to do everything I can to avoid any information about it. And the trailers are being incredibly vague.
The trailers are all teasers. I mean, yeah. I have to think eventually they're going to put out like a trailer. Like, I mean, obviously we're far away still.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I kind of like that, but at the same time, like I want something to grasp onto, because all we got so far is like, oh shit, Dr. Doom is just destroying the whole universe, and
And man, Doctor Doom just fucking pwned Thor. But then again,
Yeah.
Thor gets pwned a lot. It's like everyone's like, oh man, how are they gonna beat him if Thor did? I'm like, don't you remember that Thanos whooped the shit out of Thor in the beginning of Infinity War? And I'm pretty sure Thor still could fight him. I like the way Doom looks. You can clearly see it's Robert Downey Jr. behind the mask, thank God.
Well, they paid for him. They're gonna make sure you can tell.
Yeah, I was like, you can tell, like, those are his eyes. I do, not that I care about the storyline, at least they are continuing with Thor Love and Thunder, because we did see, I don't remember what her name is, but the girl that's with Thor.
Love.
Huh?
I believe he named her Love. I thought that's why it was called that. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw that when it was in theaters. I still have not watched Love and Thunder since the theaters. But at least they're like not like pretending like Thor's just off doing his thing. I was like, what happened to the fucking like girl that was with him? Well, so she's gonna be there. Yeah, like you said, like I don't really have much to say because like I said, it's been very vague so far, and I'm happy that it's been vague because I don't want to be 4 months out from this and be like, yeah, so it's great or it's gonna be bad. Like I'm not expecting it to be bad, but I'm happy that we're still 4 months out and we still are kind of like, yeah, I really don't really fucking know what to think about this yet because they're holding things close to their vest. I fully trust the Russo brothers when it comes to the Avengers movies. I know most people don't care for them outside of the MCU. But when it comes to the MCU, I fully believe that they're going to do everything right. You know, I think visually, I think everything looks good. I think the one thing that is going to help, maybe even hurt it to a point, is that at least with like Infinity War and Endgame, is that we were building up to Thanos for years, like with teasers and like we know Thanos is coming, we know Thanos is here. With this, we didn't have really any build up to Doom outside of this like Fantastic Four movie, so he's just gonna like show up. Whereas like Thanos was like this overlooming Doom that we knew was coming, and we knew that it was leading up to this. Whereas like with Doomsday, he literally brought in because the whole Kang thing fell apart. So it's like, you guys gonna have to find a way to make this fucking go storyline wise, because you guys haven't really led up to it at all. Which, granted, like I said, he wasn't the initial game plan. It was Kang, and they had to call an audible. And I think that's gonna be the one thing that is probably gonna be like, without forcing it to be like a Fantastic Four storyline, they're gonna have to find some way to make Doom relevant outside of just like comic book characters knowing who Doom is.
So I don't think it's gonna be a problem because I mean Kevin Feige even pointed this out when people are talking to him about the same kind of idea about the buildup, is that when you really go back and look at it, the Thanos basically had like one kind of scene in a movie and then like one post-credit thing where he said, "I'll do it myself." So you saw brief glimpses of him,
but he also had a small role in Guardians of the Galaxy.
A small role. He was just off doing it, sitting in a.
But with Gamora and fuck, why am I blanking on
Nebula?
Nebula, thank you. I want to say Navarro. I'm like, that's not right. But they were there to kind of give the pieces or kind of build him up vocally while Thanos is out there. You still had like all the people talking about Thanos.
Yeah, but it really was relatively little build up. I think people, because you think of like all these things that turned out to be Infinity Stones, which is funny because half of them weren't originally created as Infinity Stones. People, it sounds like, oh, they had this whole big long thing that built up to it, and it's like Thanos. I think that's the thing is when you finally got to see Thanos, like besides just sitting in a chair or whatever or being talked about, he was like, he showed up first scene, beat the shit out of Hulk, and you're like, he made his impact right away. And like I've heard people talk about, you know, if you think about the greatest villains of all time, if you think of Darth Vader, there weren't no film was building up to Darth Vader. There weren't films building up to, I don't know, fucking Hans Gruber. It's like a great villain can be a great villain. And if you introduce him in this movie, I think that works just fine. I don't need to build up.
Well, yes, but it's also different than Star Wars with Darth Vader when it was the very, very first film, where this is like film 30 something.
But I also feel like that's kind of the point, is like, you know, the Avengers kind of always, you know, knew what was out there, knew what might be coming, or different people were aware of what was going on. This one is like, this thing is coming from this alternate Earth dimension or whatever the fuck it is. And so it's like, it's just like shows up and they're like, and nobody knows, like, what the hell is this showing up? And I think that's kind of part of the strategy.
Do you think, and like I said, we're just speculating, and I don't think I've read it, so I definitely don't know. Do we get revealed that Tony Stark is Doom in this movie, or does it get hold off till Secret Wars? Because we already know Spider-Man.
Are you saying? You're saying that Tony Stark is Doom? Are we going
to see Robert Downey's? Are the Avengers going to see that Doom is Robert Downey Jr. in this movie?
I don't think we do. Or if we do, I think it's like almost the final scene. Because I think it's going to be...
They see it and then fade to black.
Or something like that.
Like that gut punch end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be at or very near the end, if at all, in this movie. Yeah. Yes.
Like I said, we already know that Spider-Man is not going to be in Doomsday. And I think outside of Thor and Cap, and I'm assuming... Is War Machine in this?
I don't know if I've seen him listed or not. Actually, I think I have seen.
I can't remember if Don Cheadle's in this or not. But like outside of those four, I don't think the emotional impact is going to hit anybody else the same way. Like, yes, all the Avengers know who Tony Stark is, but Rhodey, Cap, Peter, and Thor are really the only four that I feel like it would be like, when they see it. Everyone else would be like, is that fucking Tony Stark? Yeah.
Well, because even the people that weren't Avengers, that everybody knows who Tony Stark and Iron Man is. He's very public about it.
Well, yeah, but like I'm saying, like those are the four that would actually be like, oh my fucking god, kind of thing.
Yeah, and obviously Spider-Man he's the most emotionally invested with him. Don Cheadle has not been announced as being a part of the cast. Doesn't mean he's not to show up, but he's not.
No, but it also could be one things too where he doesn't show up till Secret Wars.
Yeah,
at the same time. So, but yeah, like I said, there's so much we still don't know. There's so much we still have not seen. And it's also one of those things where it's like Brian and I are going to probably do the best we can to avoid most of this leading up to Doomsday because we don't want to fucking be spoiled. Like we did the same thing with Infinity War. We did the same thing with Endgame where it was to the point where his trailer started to get seen after the initial one. We were like, no.
Yeah, and they'll start releasing clips online and TV spots that show more, and I'm going to avoid all of those like the plague.
Because we can't trust that we're going to have the Russo brothers go, hey, see Hulk running with this whole group? Yeah, that's not in the movie. Like, we can't trust that they're going to do that anymore. So once we get the initial, like, trailer, which we have not gotten yet, once that happens...
That's the last thing I'm watching.
Brian and I are probably going to go dark. Like, we can speculate, and the problem is that we could speculate, and it's already been announced or it's already been talked about that that's not going to happen, and we're not going to fucking know. Because we're just talking about, like, oh, yeah, they like 2 weeks ago they released footage that wasn't going to happen. Well, we don't fucking know because we ain't trying to watch that shit. Because we want to go in as blind as we can. But yeah, like I said, I'm still, I still can't believe that Dune and Doomsday are coming on the same fucking day. I figured that some like one of them.
I'm more just pissed because Dune's taking on IMAX screens so that Avengers can have it, but I'm going to go see it in Dolby Cinema instead. But whatever. I
figured by now one of them would have like pulled back a week or so, and they're both like, "Nah, we're Doomsday. Fuck this. We're all coming out like." If you guys thought Spider-Man and the Odyssey and all that was going to be chaos, wait till fucking Doomsday and Dune 3 come out on the same fucking day. You guys, everyone that works in the movie theater, you're fucked. You guys are so fucked. And I used to work in a movie theater, so I know how fucked you are. And I never had to work. Like, I had to deal with the Harry Potters and the Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. That was insane. I don't even want to envision how bad Doomsday and Dune, and heaven forbid one of your projectors goes down in one of those theaters. I don't even want to envision the hell that you guys will be dealing with. But what were your guys' thoughts on D23 or any of the movies that we talked about in our reviews? Let us know in the comments below. Coming up next, we really only have one movie really left to talk about for the summer, and that's Coyote versus Acme. I think that comes out in, what, 2 weeks?
Let me check.
I don't think it's next week. I want to say it's the week after.
No, next week is just Insidious, Mutiny, and Spa Weekend. And then Coyote versus Acme is the following weekend along with Dog Stars.
Which I'll watch Dog Stars eventually. Same thing with Mutiny. I'll watch that eventually, but it's not anything that I'm going to... I'll even watch Spa Weekend at some point because that looks like it could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Coyote vs. Acme is the last big film of the summer. We'll have a review for that. And then, of course, Brian and I will be back here to talk about our summer in review on how well or shitty we did in our box office predictions.
Spoiler alert, we did not predict Obsession. Okay.
So, or back rooms.
Yeah.
At all. And then we will also be going into our fall movie preview where we'll be talking about the movie slate for the next 4 months. Not September, October. Yeah, in 4 months. And letting you guys know what we're excited about outside of Dune 3 and Doomsday. Well, for me, both of those. Brian's just like, yeah, Dune 3.
I'll see it. It's obviously Doomsday is far more my priority. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna not see it, but you're also just like, it's fine. I guarantee you, we're gonna both see that and be like, hey, are we shooting a review for Dune? I really have nothing to say about it. You can if we want to, but I'm not really gonna have much to say about it. I want to say I'll be so happy, but it would be hilarious if Dune 3 came out and that was the one that won you over. And you're like, it's everything makes sense now. Like, now I get it. And it's like, it's not going to. I know it's a pipe dream.
Still don't get it.
I know it's a pipe dream, but it would be hilarious if Dune 3 was the one that won Brian over at the end. But anyway, that's what we got coming up. So probably no videos coming out next week. But like I said, at the end of August, you're going to get plenty of us with 3 big videos coming out. But yes, until next time, we are the Movie Crusaders. I'm Sean Waskrug. That is Brian Michaels. And until next time, in case we don't see you, go watch some movies and go have some fun.